Hey, get in here. Dallas is about to start.
Welcome to the Ewing Barbecue Podcast, another edition of the DOA Southfork Experience series. This is episode number 5 of the series, I believe. First, we had on Josh Henderson and Mario De La Casa, and they are this whole thing is the brainchild of those two. They really have gone above and beyond. And second one was with David Hayden, the organizer, Mario De La Casa, and Janna Timm, who is joining us. She's kind of becoming our
Ewing Southfork rep.
I'm actually going to call you a unofficial member of the Ewing Barbecue Podcast team here for all that you're doing. Because,
love it.
Yeah. And then we had Cherie J. Wilson on. She talked about the auction that's going to be happening at Southfork and the Yellow Rose Gala Foundation, how they're going to benefit, and all the money is going to MS Research, and there is every penny is going. There's no one's taking a salary, and that's the great thing about that organization. And the fourth one, I did spontaneously, Janna, you've seen it, the tour of the Southfork Experience website. I basically walked everybody through the website so they could get a tutorial on just how to make purchases and how to plan their trips and their schedules, because it's confusing when you get in there.
Yeah,
you have to admit that.
Your podcast on that was great, though, and many people have been helped by it. So,
and hopefully it helps with the ticket sales. And today we are joined by J.R. Ewing's second wife,
that's right.
Miss Callie Harper Ewing. Did you go back to Harper? Cathy Podewell is back on again with us here. Alan will correct. Alan will correct.
Details of,
Right.
the minutia of my character or scenes or anything. My dear friend Alan Catan is always like, and then this. I was like, I have no memory of that, so I'll believe you.
In the Cherie episode, I said April Stevens Ewing, and he immediately messaged me when he saw it and said, it's April Stevens Ewing. And I'm going, yeah, we're more concerned with the Ewing because I wanted to bring up Dak Rambo, who played her first husband on the show.
That's right.
The late Dak Rambo, yes. So you're the latest announcement of we're working our way through all the guests that are coming. I have an upcoming podcast with Audrey Landers, who's joining us as well. So Southfork in October. And thank God it's not in the middle of the summer, correct?
Oh, thank God. Yeah,
now,
thank God.
How hot
when you can,
there?
Yeah.
how hot is it down there? How hot is it down there?
Today maybe 104. The other day was 110. So but it's that humid heat, and
Yes.
it's just impossible to escape. And
Yeah.
at the ranch at Southfork, the buildings, a lot of them are metal, and it is like it's real hard to get them cooled off.
Oof. So, an interesting thing I thought about, they stopped filming at Southfork in like 88 or 89. Was that before you came on the show, or did you get down there at all?
I got my first year.
Oh, that's neat.
One.
1 year.
Okay.
1 year.
Because I was sitting there going, has Cathy even been to Southfork yet? Or were you at Southfork Soundstage?
Southfork Soundstage. Yes. Crazy
Okay.
that they replicate the pool. But then I think that's the only thing on the soundstage that was scaled to the actual Southfork Ranch. The inside's completely different, and yeah.
Right.
So I got to experience all of that. I got to film on location. Thank goodness. I think that just solidifies the experience to be a cast member. And, they went every year for the first few months of every season. So to get to experience that was like, phew, really lucky.
And that's obviously interesting because they did the outdoor scenes, so you had to have a continuity person write down basically if they went in the house. Okay,
Yes.
Patrick's holding his briefcase in his right hand. His left foot goes in the door first. He's wearing this, that, or the other. And then you go back to Los Angeles, and then you had to basically go to those notes and then pick up right where you left off, right?
Yep.
Yeah, if you made a mistake, people noticed, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
And your hair
Well-
color and your skin tan, all that makeup, all that. That was
They
rough for
would
girls,
say to me,
especially.
don't tan, don't go in the sun.
Yeah.
And I think one summer I came back a little tan, and they were like, don't.
It's better than when Linda cut her hair in between the.
Right.
You've heard about that? She's in the hospital, and then she comes out of the hospital. So I want to know where the boutique is at Dallas Memorial Hospital. But yeah, and imagine a show like 24 with Kiefer Sutherland, where they're filming over 10 months, and it takes place over the course of a day. So they're in there cutting the hair every 2 weeks or something, and stuff like that. But
continuity is a very important job on certain shows, for sure.
And and I know people pick up on these things, and they didn't obviously think back in the 70s and 80s when the show was on that it was going to be streaming and DVDs and Blu-rays and this and that. Because I'm sitting there going, okay, Patrick Duffy puts on boots in one scene at Victoria Principal's house, and then when he got run over by Morgan Brittany, he was wearing shoes. And I brought that up in Burbank to prop master Kerry Scott Nair. Do you remember Kerry? Was he there when you were there?
I remember. Love Kerry.
He came to a dinner out in Burbank the night before the thing. And I mentioned that to him, and he goes, well, actually, that was done on purpose because you could not wear boots if you were doing a stunt like that. You had to wear shoes if you were going to flip over the car.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But so you've been started doing these conventions and things like that. And how did you end up on this group here at coming to Southfork?
Wait, how did I? People have been asking me, are you going to be a part of it? And I was like, I haven't been asked, so I'm not sure, but I just was grateful for the one that we all did in Burbank. So I was feeling very filled up, and I thought, if I don't do this one, it's okay, it's fine. They've got the biggies, and so somebody said, Mario Delacoste is trying to get in touch with you, message him. So I messaged him, and basically I was in discussion, and so the ball got rolling, and then it was made official. So super happy.
And a lot of these people are some of the same ones that were in Burbank. And
right.
And talk about Burbank, though. You were there, and you were obviously. I always find it interesting when cast members that were never shared a scene together meet up at these events, and it's like, oh, you were on then, and this and that, and how was that like meeting some people that you hadn't met before?
So much fun, and on the flip side, seeing people that I haven't seen that I worked with, like Deborah Renard, and I'd seen Patrick and Linda and Charlene and Cherie and Steve pretty regularly, and certainly Charlene, Cherie, and I've had lunches and various get-togethers. So always super great to see Linda and Patrick and Steve extra, but seeing everyone and meeting people I hadn't met before, amazing, super. And the best, I don't even know why I didn't say this first, the best was seeing the kids, was seeing Josh, Harris, and Omri.
Oh, yeah.
I had not seen them since they were little boys. So,
right. And they were right next to your table, right? They were.
And Josh, mean, well, they're both right next to me, but Omri and then Josh. They have grown up to become such lovely young men. Great.
Young men in their 40s.
Still young men. Yeah, I know. That's crazy. Oh my God. It's insane that the little boys are in their 40s. It's crazy. And Josh has a little boy who looks just like him. You know,
I saw him wandering around. I saw the pictures, and I messaged Josh and Josh and Josh and Josh and all the. There were too many of us with the same name.
That's why
right, and I said, if they ever redid the series, they could just stick your son in there, and.
It was a little freaky, actually. A little.
Well, we know. We know he's his kid then. Right, and
there is no doubt. There is no doubt. Yeah.
Right, and I know you.
So sweet. So that was I'd say my favorite part of the Burbank experience was hanging out with the boys, because we worked together a lot, and Callie was very connected to the boys, and so it just was very sweet, very, very.
And as I always bring up, Omri and I always joke about the time he went unconscious in the pool and you had to save his life. First, he wanted Callie out of there, and then he was like, "No, you can't, Dad. You got to make her stay. Please stay." And you're going to see.
Thank you.
Yeah. Speaking of John Ross's, you actually did work with him in the new show because you came back for JR's Masterpiece, but you saw Josh Henderson.
Exactly.
Yes. So, and he's going to be doing a concert that Saturday night at the Southfork. Have you heard his music at all, or
what?
Have you heard him? Have you heard him sing at all?
Nope.
You have to look him up on YouTube.
So he did a great video at Southfork with the song. Wasn't it "Lot of Love"? Is that right, Josh?
Yes, I think it is. Yeah, and his mother was in it, and I think she's coming. His mother.
Yeah, I think she is. I'm not sure.
But what's it like to just Sharon?
Or on Facebook, yeah.
She's friends with everybody. She's like the.
She's the room mom.
That's it.
A dead mom or whatever.
That's it.
Or
right.
Mom. I guess that would be the most appropriate.
And I remember being there in Veterans Weekend, I believe 2013, when they were filming John Ross and Pamela's wedding. And there was a point when Josh Henderson said something about Mama, and both Sharon and Linda both said, "Yes, dear," at the same time.
That's so cute.
Oh my gosh.
So what does it mean? What does it mean after all these years to just have all these fans that are just still so invested, and talk of making this an annual event if it works out?
Yes, please, Jan. Yes, please. It would be amazing. It would be amazing. Look, I was on the last 3 years of a 13-year run. So by the time I got there, I knew it was an iconic show. I knew I was so dang lucky. Out of all the shows being filmed in 1988, I got to not only be on one of the most iconic shows, but to have all my scenes be with Larry Hagman. I mean, just insane. So all these years later, I'm not surprised. I mean, I love the fact that there's the fans, as we're aging, are coming along for the ride and are interested in, these events and these reunions, which is so great. And I missed a lot of reunions. I was busy home with my kids. So I had 3 little kids. So unfortunately, and it was like when Larry was alive, but, I'd see Larry separately from events, but yeah, so I missed a lot of these reunions. So it felt really good. The first one I ever did was in 2012. Yeah, 2012. It was Burbank. It was the Burbank show, and it was like a little reunion. And Larry was still alive, and he was supposed to come, but he was too sick. So
Right.
that was unfortunate. But that was my
And
first reunion. So
and that was
these, like I've said.
And that was around the time they were. And that was around the time they were filming the new series, 2012.
Exactly.
Right when they were doing it. Well, I started in 2010, I think. But yeah.
Right. And so you were there for Janna for when they were filming as well, and
I was definitely there. I was right in the middle of all of it. I say that laughingly because we never stopped tours.
Wow.
The entire time. We were open to the public as they were shooting. And it was great because you never knew when Patrick or Larry were going to jump over the fence and just come say hi to a tour group.
Aww,
it was amazing.
So
no, it was touching and it was amazing. The things that I saw there from fans were, incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. The stories were out there. I saw people cry at least 5 times a year.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. Like,
I ended up on set. I was an extra in the first barbecue episode of the new series when they said it was going to be they were selling the ranch and everything like that, and Bobby gets up.
I was an extra on that and the wedding.
Oh, you were too. Okay.
And all that, yeah.
And that iconic dance scene with Larry and Linda that got cut from the final episode that upset a lot of people because. Yeah. But so the reunion is going to start on Friday.
Yeah.
With a cocktail hour that night for the VIPs. And do you have your dress all picked out?
No. I'm like, wait, how many outfits do I have to have? I got to get shopping. Bye, guys. I got to go. You're going to
Bye. Okay, yes. And then Saturday.
Everything online now. You don't have to go anywhere.
That's true. That is true.
And Amazon has the weird thing now where you can like see what something looks like in your room.
I can't do that.
No, that's just creepy. It's creepy.
Yeah.
And then and then Saturday, you have the meet and greet and photo ops, and so that's like a fan expo type of a thing right there. That on Saturday and Sunday that.
Right.
And then you have the barbecue that night with the concert, and is the Q&A I think the Q&A is Saturday as well.
I think it is Saturday, but it might be Sunday also. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'll have to.
When's the brunch?
Sunday.
The brunch is Sunday morning. Okay. And I think the podcast team is going to be there filming. As they just better feed us too while we're filming. But
talk to David.
Yeah. Saturday night is the auction as well. That you mentioned Mario De La Casa, who does the genie bottles. Have you seen his genie bottles that he's done?
I'm not close up, but I've seen I saw him sitting at his booth with Barbara Eden. And
Barbara Eden,
I
okay.
didn't get up close, but yeah.
And you obviously did you work much with Barbara Eden when she was on?
There was a point where I was like, did I meet Barbara Eden? How could I not have remembered, because I was a huge I Dream of Jeannie fan, but I think we had one scene together. I gotta call Alan. I'll ask Alan.
He'll just go.
I'm surprised Josh doesn't know.
I was like, he sent me a clip, a composite clip of some of Callie's early scenes, and I just watched it yesterday, and he does such a great job. So it was really fun to see all these scenes I hadn't seen in a long time, and probably since they aired, actually. But I didn't know that Callie's middle name was Elizabeth. Like the preacher, when he marries JR and Callie, he says, do you Calpurnia Elizabeth Harper? Anyway.
Well, Calpurnia.
I have a little fun fact in my head.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'm like, I don't remember.
And someone you worked with on that show, Liz Taylor's son, Michael Wilding Jr., who played Alex Barton.
Yes. Lovely man. So lovely. I don't think I asked him one question about his mom. I think in my head I was like, I'm going to be respectful. He's his own man. He's his own, he's the actor. He's Mike Wilding. He's not, Elizabeth Taylor's son. So I don't think I asked him any questions, but such a lovely man. I have really fond memories.
She never showed up, did she? No.
But
okay.
the idea at the time that our scenes aired, I was like, I think Elizabeth Taylor's probably watching her kid and she's going to see me. So that was really thrilling to think of Elizabeth Taylor in her living room watching,
That would be like anyone that worked with Priscilla Presley. If Elvis had lived, Elvis would have been watching Dallas.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
And any conspiracy theorists out there, he's alive somewhere and he was watching Dallas all these years and hiding.
We'll go with that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I wish.
But for the auction, Mario has painted a lot of the cast. I don't know if he's going to have time to get around to some of the others that are coming. It's just because it takes so much time to do a painting, and he does have one of you that this is going to be up for auction at Southfork. Look at that.
It's so pretty.
What are your thoughts?
Who is that?
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's beautiful. So that picture was just like a still shot, just like a Dallas promo shot. And I was in this sweater that actually I think I still have. So Mario created that sweater, and I do have cleavage, so that's, that's not like total.
Well, we got that out of the way. JR went after the women with cleavage.
Okay, yeah, that
yes.
was, okay. If that's true, then yeah, maybe that's why I got hired. But yeah, no. So when he showed me, I was like, because I'm thinking the picture that it came from, and he did his own little spin on it. So
he always does.
It's beautiful. It's amazing.
I like the big hair,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The big Dallas hair. That's Callie was Dallas-fied. Is that a word?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She was Dallas-fied by then. So.
Dallas-fied, yes. And a lot of you'll be seeing.
Yep.
And I know some people would probably like to get a photo op with JR's two wives, you and Linda. Talk about your experiences with Linda and just how.
I would like a photo op with Linda. My experience with Linda, she's such a beautiful person, as you both know because you both met her.
She really is.
She's honestly one of the sweetest humans on this planet. So kind to me, and it was not hard to act with her in those scenes where Sue Ellen and kind of takes Callie under her wing and gets her advice and helps her along. And, she sees something in Callie, and Callie's appreciative of Sue Ellen. And I feel like that was sort of our relationship as Linda and Cathy. I very much felt like she was, in my corner, helping me out, passing the torch, so to speak, before she went off. So I could go on. I could gush on and on about Linda.
And it's quite a difference from when the two of your two characters met at the oil barons ball, and you were all, well, I thought you were a hopeless drunk, and blah blah blah. And Sue Ellen goes over, so which junior high school were you cruising JR for this one? And
I have to say, I've seen out of all the scenes that have come up in the recent couple of past few years, that scene has come up more than anything, and I think
That's funny.
I laugh every time. I think it's hilarious, and it was so much fun to film. I remember just pinching myself that I was at the Oil Barons Ball on Dallas, and how flippin' cool. So, yeah.
That was
Exactly.
such a big deal back then. It still is today, and it's back at Southfork now. But back then
Wow.
in the 80s, it really and truly
Right.
was a big deal off
Yep.
the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Right,
yeah.
and that
Again, and because
and,
I got to film in Dallas, I knew that. Whereas,
Hmm.
if I hadn't had that Dallas experience, I probably
You wouldn't
wouldn't miss.
realize exactly what it was.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
and that's based. Is that based on like the Cattle Barons Ball? That is it. Kind of like a.
I think so. Yeah.
Was it inspired by the Cattle Barons Ball? You think, Janna?
Oh yes,
The Oil Barons. Oh,
definitely.
okay.
Yes.
Because I know when.
Yes, and I kind of, in my head, I think of them as the same. But
Yeah.
Cattle Barons Ball benefits the Cancer Association, but definitely they are very much alike from the show and what they really were. And you had all
Right.
the big Dallas socialites there, and yeah, it was a pretty big deal.
And we'll see if some of them slip over to South Fork in October and
I hope
check
so.
check things out.
I hope
But
so.
and the money, obviously, as we mentioned, is going to at last check the Yellow Rose Gala Foundation, of which Cherie, your good friend Cherie, is part of, and she was on talking about it in the last podcast. Um, what are you most looking forward to in getting down there?
I think it's pretty. Hey, I could meet in the parking lot of Target and meet my castmates, and I would be happy to see them anywhere. But I think it's pretty iconic that we're going back to Southfork Ranch, and that's huge. And like I said before, there's been a few Southfork reunions that I wasn't a part of, so I feel very grateful to be a part of this one.
Right, and we won't bring up the 2008 one, which you really did not miss anything there. That
Heard some not nice, something I don't know, I can't remember, but there were a couple snafus I heard, right? Something.
A couple, and I heard that too. I actually wasn't there, but
I was there.
I was with the company, but not at that event. So
Okay. Yes.
So
Well, I'm very much looking forward to the grandiosity, the hoopla, all the events. I mean, there's not just meet and greets. It's very special that there's, a barbecue and a cocktail hour and a brunch and a concert. It's like a full packed weekend.
It's some people's true dream. I mean, I know someone, she's not even 40 yet, and her dream is to go to this event and a VIP ticket, and her husband bought it for her. And she binge watched to Dallas, and a lot of people did during COVID.
Yeah.
During COVID.
Yeah.
A lot of younger people did. Surprising.
I remember.
Well, I was going to say, Josh, when you asked me that question about the fans, so there are the fans that grew up with it, that are my age, or but I was going to mention that a lot of people who've messaged me are 26
Pandemic ones, right?
Binge, like you said, and that is so mind-boggling.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, people have parties there themed around it at Southfork still, because they do events. Come dress like your favorite character and that kind of thing.
And what else could you do during the pandemic except binge watch television? You're in your house.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I saw a cartoon online. It said in 2019, it showed people at the zoo looking at the animals in the cages, and then in 2020, it showed the animals outside people's houses looking in the windows at the people.
That's funny.
Who were all quarantined. So it was.
That's funny. I was actually at Southfork every day. I didn't stay home.
Really? Wow.
Wow. Binge watching shows and baking bread. Lots of bread.
That was the other thing.
Speaking of bread, Patrick Duffy has a sourdough bread company. So if you're looking for, while you're down there, they might have some in the gift shop. So pick up your starter kit and you can bring it home. Duffy's dough, which
That's right.
Duffy's dough.
And it goes to a charity as well. I think the Feed
I know.
the Hungry,
Oh, look at
National
you.
Feed the Hungry.
there's the Duff.
Shameless plug. Patrick will be so happy. Shameless plug.
Yes, Patrick. I believe he and Linda will be joining us at some point in the lead up to October. Also, you have coming up a trip up to my neck of the woods in Massachusetts. You're doing, is it TerrorCon?
I'm doing TerrorCon, Boston TerrorCon, September 27th, 28th, 29th.
Oh, the day after my birthday it starts.
I know, exactly. We talked about that, and you're going to come see me. So, yeah, if you're in that area, it's a TerrorCon. So, obviously, the horror film I did is called Night of the Demons. I get a lot of Night of the Demons fans coming, but I kid you not, at a horror convention, I get probably a quarter, maybe a third of the people coming up with Dallas stuff. So don't be shy.
Well, you were married to the greatest villain in the history of television, so of course you're going to get that many. And also, for Dallas fans out there, also going to be there that weekend is Ray Wise, who played Laura Palmer's father on Twin Peaks. Also played Blair Sullivan on Dallas, who was Lucy's modeling manager.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So, yeah. So there will be a double
fun weekend.
Two Dallas people. That's very cool. Very cool.
Exactly. So, and I believe you're bringing your husband to Dallas with you.
I think so.
And he actually did have a cameo on Dallas. Tell everyone about that.
We got married in '89, so everybody knew my husband then and knows him now. And I don't know how it unfolded, but they basically needed somebody to play the love interest of Callie when she's riding off into the sunset with her baby, and JR is watching and allows her to leave, doesn't try to stop her. And so Steve plays my love interest.
Your love, yeah.
I love it.
JR let Callie get. He let Callie get away. He's getting soft.
Again,
and
as my dear friend Alan always says, that is like one of the only nice things JR ever did for anyone. So I love that. I love when he brings that up, because when you say the greatest villain of all time, I'm like, oh yeah, he was, wasn't he? Callie loved him, and he did. And he did okay by her at the end. So I have a soft spot for JR. Sorry.
And a little bit of trivia for all the fans out there. The baby in that scene was played by on-set tutor Sharon Sachs's daughter. So we don't know if we think the baby was a boy in the scene, but it was her daughter that was in your arms.
Right.
And she was the on-set tutor for Omri Katz, Josh Harris, Shalane McCall, and she even had some stories to tell about Brad Pitt when we were at the dinner at Southfork, not Southfork, at Burbank.
I was going to say, that was not at Southfork. I would remember Brad Pitt being in Southfork.
Yeah.
No, yeah. We're talking about going to Southfork in October. So a quick recap of people coming: Patrick, Linda, Charlene, Steve, yourself, Cherie, Josh Henderson, Jenna Lee Harrison, who played Cousin Jamie, the only character to die twice on Dallas.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did not either. No.
And Jack Scalia.
Yeah.
Joan Van Ark. And Audrey Landers so far. Joan Van Ark.
Oh, Joan Van Ark, right.
Charlene's TV mama. Now you made it back before we wrap up. You made it back onto the new series in 2012 13 for JR's masterpiece with his. How did that come about?
Such a good story. So my house, we moved right before the pandemic, but for 29 years I lived about a mile up the road, and two houses away was Cynthia Sidre, and she lived there. She lived there before we moved in, so, and she's still there with her husband, and her son's grown up. But anyway, so Cynthia and the neighbor in between us would always have this holiday party, and I didn't see Cynthia that often, pretty much every, this yearly party. And then after Larry died, or I think once she was the producer of the reboot. Sorry, I should have said that.
I know Cynthia. I know who you're talking about now. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
I loved her. She was wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she was my neighbor, and the neighbor in between us was like, you're starting this new Dallas reboot. Cathy right here played JR's wife. So anyway, that was the funny thing, and I joked about walking by with her house with my dog, back and forth, like I would walk back and forth, notice me. So anyway, she was. I think it was a neighborly gesture for her to include Callie in the funeral scene. I mean, it was poignant and it was perfect that Callie should be there, I think. But I also think that it was a very nice, neighborly gesture. So thank you. Thank you, Cynthia.
So you got to work with Linda Gray again, and you got to meet his other mistress, played by Deborah Shelton.
Yes.
In that scene. Yes.
Exactly. I never worked with Deborah. And she and I ended up hanging out on that shoot, and I love her to pieces. I wish she would come to these events. She's such a lovely woman. Somebody call her.
Now, it's interesting, the fandom out there, because you have some people that are so like Team Sue Ellen, this and that, and
I get that.
But they have a certain like passionate dislike for someone like Deborah's character Mandy. And have you ever found that fans will blur the lines of reality and confuse the person playing the part with? Because I've seen it where we'll post someone's birthday and they'll put up like nasty comments, and it's like,
really? Look,
they're playing it. It's the actor or actress. They're playing a part. It's how do you respond to something like?
My take on that is I understand the devotion to an original cast, the original set of characters, and the allegiance that you feel toward those originals. Then as the show wears on, and then it becomes, I hear like a lot of people did not like the whole Haleyville. They thought it was silly. They thought my character was silly. I'm no Sue Ellen, and I get that. Callie was no Sue Ellen. And so my take on that, other than understanding, I get it, I'm not an original cast member, and your devotion to them, got it. But I also think to say like that those extra characters and those extra years were because of the extra characters. So you got Dallas, you got more of Dallas, your favorite characters, stretched out for longer because of other storylines. So there's something to be said for, at least that they prolong the life of the show.
Right.
Those extra characters, those extra years. But I understand, and it's not for everybody, and that's fine. And I don't take offense. I mean, there's certain actors that I'm like, I don't understand their appeal. I just don't get it, So, it doesn't offend me. I totally can put myself.
Was there anyone that you didn't work with that you wish you had on the show?
putting her on the spot.
I'll give you.
I never. Look, I always talk about Howard Keel and Barbara Bel Geddes as like, if I didn't work with them, I would have regretted. I would have said them because I mean, other than Larry, I love. Every ounce of my body loves Larry Hagman. But like the opportunity to work with, old Hollywood legends, and I don't mean old, but like Hollywood legends, was certainly a thrill because I was a big fan of like the MGM musicals, and Howard and and Hitchcock and Barbara, so. That was pretty much a thrill, but no, I was just grateful to get to work with who I worked with, and I worked with a lot of people, like Joel Gray,
Joel Gray, exactly.
Episode, and so with my kids, it's fun to like watch them and go, oh, I worked with him. You're like, what? You worked with him? So
and then and you can tell you're right.
Brad Pitt's great. I didn't work with him on Dallas, but we were both flown from LA to New York to do a screen test for One Life to Live in New York. And we had to kiss in our scene. And I remember thinking, he wasn't the best kisser. Isn't that horrible? But that's what I And it was before he was Brad Pitt. He was Robin Gibbons' boyfriend. That's how I knew who he was. But anyway, very sweet. Neither of us got that job, so it freed us up probably to do Dallas. So it's all meant.
We'll have to find Shalane McCall, who played Priscilla Presley's daughter, and ask what his kissing was like too. No. But
It was awkward. No, I'm sure he's a great kisser, but I'm just like in the screen test. I remember could have been me, but yeah.
But an interesting note: you talk about people not working together. Barbara Bel Geddes played the grandmother of Sasha Mitchell's character, and they never had a single scene together.
Wow, really?
And yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
And you saw Sasha again in Burbank. How was that? Because you shared a lot of scenes with him.
So he was busy the whole time, and I wasn't as busy, but I had to walk by his table to use the restroom. So on the way back, I just stood there because there was a lull. So I waited for the last person, and then, he was sitting there, and I was just like, "Hi, I don't know if you remember me." He was like, "Oh my God!" And he gave me like a big hug, and he was very sweet. He was like, "You got me through those scenes," and I was like, "What? You were fine." He goes, "No, you helped me or something." I don't know.
Did I get a picture of the two of you together?
What?
Did I take a picture of the two of you together? I think I took a picture of the two of you together.
Did. We were hugging.
Okay.
Yes. I think you
okay, because I was trying to go around and get different combinations of people together and stuff like that.
Yes. You were like the official photographer at the Burbank event.
I felt like it because we had the rest of the podcast team with the Ewing secretaries.
Right.
And then you met that big dog, Callie.
Yeah.
The big white dog, yeah. See, Janna, you should have come with us out there.
I know. I wanted to.
25 of them, and when the podcast team went in for their group photo, I think Deb Bernard got everybody to applaud us for some reason. They started applauding us.
Fun.
Because you guys rock. You're so.
It's like, oh.
Everywhere.
Well, you do. They couldn't do it without y'all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, so any last
alive, Josh. You keep the love.
Any last messages for leading up to the reunion in October or your appearance in September?
I hope anybody who really wants to come can somehow come and make it happen. Like you said, people are saying it's like a dream come true, and I hope you can make it your dream come true. We're excited to see you all, and the Dallas fans are a rare, beautiful breed, and so
they are.
I'm super excited.
Yeah, and there are many ticket
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I have one last question.
Sure.
At South Fork, when I was there, and I think we'll do it during this event, they had themed drinks. So we had like Sue Ellen's Sensation and Lucy's Libation, whatever. And I want to know if you can think of a drink for Callie. Let us know.
I have this feeling Callie was not a drinker. And
Okay.
so I would say some delicious mocktail. Like a,
There you go. Okay.
you know.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
I have to bring a name that makes it work with it. So if you think of something, let us know.
Okay.
Because
I will.
And I'll think about it too.
I love it
because
because I remember in the reboot, the scene with Deborah Schulte, they hand us a bowl and branch or whatever, Larry's
Bourbon and Branch.
Yeah.
Bourbon and branch, I meant, not bowl
Yes.
and branch. That's something different.
Yeah.
Bourbon and branch. And I remember, like, as an actress, I was like, Callie would not like this. So I remember, like, it's like sugar water, but I remember just
Right.
going,
Yeah.
as Callie. So, yeah, I don't think Callie was much of a drinker.
She was not a big drinker, huh?
No.
If I had to.
If you had to say. Yeah. Got you.
And that's the scene where.
Oh. You know what I mean?
There you go. Maybe a spritzer.
Yeah.
And the scene where I think it was Charlene
Got it.
took you shopping and she had you come down the stairs with that outfit on when you first. Oh my. That just shows you what Lucy's fashion sense is like. Oh boy.
That was rough. That was the worst makeover I've ever seen on anyone, to be honest. Woo! That was bad. Yeah.
That gets a raspberry.
I had the best time with that scene. I was going to be like a comedic actress, so I spent a lot of time crying on Dallas. So if there was any funny scenes, I love that. Like the Oil Barons Ball with Sue Ellen. Like, you don't look anything like whatever. It was so much fun. So.
Well, he said you were a hopeless drunk and you left your child. Yeah, so there are many ticket options available out there, everybody, to put your own packages together. And one of the perks of the VIP package is on Sunday you get a tour of Southfork with a cast member. So look forward to that. There are a lot of things going on. You really want to get down there, isn't that? Can we get some backup on this? So
Yes.
Yes,
You're right.
Yes.
Also, if you're not sure what you want to do or how much you want to spend, go to Josh's podcast on the instructions and the tutorial on making it through that website because it really does help a lot.
That's Southfork Experience episode number 4. And we'll have more of these coming up. I know we have Audrey Landers in the queue, and I'm actually recording with her tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. And I think Steve, Charlene, Linda, Patrick, trying to get Jack Scalia, Joan Van Ark, Jenna Lee Harrison maybe. We'll see who we can get on here to. And then Mario will come on to preview all of the paintings that he is going to have at the auction. So stay tuned, and y'all come back now, you hear?